Okay, so welcome to this video lesson. We're going to do a bit of a review of the physics of an object on a ramp with and without friction, and then we'll put a mass and attach it and hang it over the edge of a pulley, modified Atwoods, on a ramp and talk about some of the theory with that. So the first part will be a bit of review of the first year physics, and then we'll kind of do a little bit of an extension into what you will be doing. I won't say quite a bit, but every now and then. So anyway, if we have a block that is on a ramp of mass m, if we were to draw the force diagram when there is no friction, so this is if the coefficient of friction is equal to 0, then we just have two forces. We have the downward force of gravity, and then we have the perpendicular normal force. Okay, so that's going perpendicular to the ramp surface. So let's assume that the ramp has an angle theta. Then these two forces are not in the line, so we can never do an F net when the forces are not in a straight line. We have to treat them, because they're vectors, in parts. So we're going to break up our parts. You might call this an X and Y. Matter of fact, some physics textbooks just say, like, oh, we're just going to tilt the axes. The way that I kind of described it in first year physics was that there's a weight that is parallel to the surface, and then there's a weight that is perpendicular to the surface. And so if you have an angle theta right there, and you could do a little bit of a proof of why that angle right there is the same as the ramp angle, but it has to do with congruent triangles. And you can see that this will end up being mg, because this is mg, the hypotenuse is mg, times the sine of the angle. And then this one on the other side here is going to be mg cosine of theta. Okay, so we end up getting the parallel being mg sine, and then the perpendicular being mg cosine. Now, I'm going to share something with you that my high school physics teacher did with me. It's the sine, right? So if I'm going sledding, it's the sine that makes me go sliding down the hill. Okay, it seems silly, but it worked if you don't want to kind of draw out the triangles on the spot. So anyway, what we can see is that the normal force is equal to this perpendicular component, so those two forces are congruent. And the only thing that is unbalanced is this mg sine theta. So if we sum our forces and set that equal to ma, we have mg sine theta, which is equal to ma, and the m's will cancel, and we get the acceleration is just g sine theta. So if I want to figure out the acceleration for a 30-degree incline with no friction, 9.81 times sine of 30, half, so we get something approximately 4.9 meters per second squared. So if we throw in friction, right, so we have a slight modification, different color here, slight modification to the force diagram, we would have friction that is going up the incline. So this is kind of like if the coefficient is greater than 0, I'm still going to have Newton's second law, sum of the force equals ma. I'm still going to have the mg sine theta going down the hill. And if we started from rest and it actually moves, then friction is going to go up it. So we're going to add in the frictional force, and that's equal to ma. But if you ask yourself, what is friction? Right? Friction equation is the fun, so it's coefficient times the normal. But in this case, the normal, this is equal to the force of gravity perpendicular. Right? So what I could do is I could plug in minus the coefficient times mg cosine theta, and that's equal to ma. And there's an m in every term, so the masses cancel out. This will be a common theme. And I could also factor out a g, right? So I have g times sine of theta minus mu cosine theta. And that's equal to my a. So basically, if we have no friction, we have this. If we have friction, we have that expression. Okay. So let's throw in a pulley and a hanging weight. Right. So if I have a hanging weight with mass mh that is connected by a string to a car that has mass mc, still in the same angle theta, and I want to know what the acceleration will be, I have to first do a little bit of an analysis, and that's what makes these problems rather difficult, right? But first what I'm going to do is I'm going to just draw some forces, right? Good habit. And once again, we're going to assume no friction, then we'll add friction to it. So I have F of G, I have a normal force, I have tension, and I have mh times g. Okay. So what I need to do is I need to kind of imagine that this is all in one direction, but the only difference is we're going to call around the pulley my positive direction. So in that case, then I end up having, I have a parallel component. Let me make this actually bigger here. I have a parallel component. Try that again. I have a parallel component of gravity that's in the direction of motion. So that's my mg sine theta. And then I have this mhg, right, going the other way. So the mg sine theta is, and that's mcg sine theta, is trying to make the cart go down the ramp. So it's trying to make it go this way. And then I have the mhg, which is trying to make the hanging weight go that way. So it's like, well, if mcg sine theta is greater than mhg, then the object will accelerate down the ramp. Okay, so A is down ramp. Can't just say down, I got to specify the fact that this thing is going to start going that way. And then the opposite is true. If mhg is greater than mcg sine theta, then the acceleration is going to be up the ramp. The cart's going to accelerate up ramp. Okay. So if I treat this as a systems approach, but I want to know the acceleration, right? So if everything in that dotted area is my system, I could sum my forces and set that equal to ma. I have mc, sorry, I'm going to do it the other way. mhg, I'm assuming this is positive, okay, minus mcg sine theta, and that's equal to my system mass, which I could write it as mh plus mc times a. Now the cool thing about this, since I already kind of assumed the direction, if my acceleration is a positive number, right? So if that's a positive number, then that tells me that it is this case right here, where, and I'll highlight that. So if that's positive, then we have a value that the weight of the hanging weight is greater than the parallel component of the cart's weight, meaning that the cart's going to go up and the weight's going to go down. If the opposite is true, right? So if I end up with a negative acceleration, so if the acceleration ends up being negative, well, then all that means is that the mcg sine theta, in other words, this value right here, is going to be greater than that value right there. And the cart's going to accelerate down and the hanging weight's going to accelerate up. And then if we include friction, this is how we go about doing friction, right? So you don't know which way the friction is acting on the cart off the bat. If we had to add in friction to it, we have to first assume there is no friction and then see which way the cart moves. If the cart is accelerating up the ramp, then I need to make my friction go down the ramp. If the cart is accelerating up down the ramp, then I'm going to flip this and put the frictional force in on the other side. So even if there is friction, you have to first figure out the problem without friction, and then you could add friction into the mix. Okay. So I know that was a lot to digest. Come in with some questions tomorrow. We'll actually start off class with a worked out example with some numbers, right? This is all theory. And thank you for listening. I hope you have a good night. Bye.